Well, today is a very special day for those of us who are Christians because today is Good Friday. On this day each year, we remember those 6 excruciating hours that Jesus Christ spent dying on the cross to pay for our sins. At 9 o'clock in the morning, they put him up on that cross, and at 3 o'clock that afternoon, he died. And so it's noon now, and so as we look back on that day, we are right in the middle of those 6 hours that Jesus spent dying on that cross. And each year on Good Friday, I along with millions of other Christians around the world, think about all of my sins that Jesus placed on himself and the unconditional love that he showed and the sacrifice that he made by taking the full penalty and the weight of our sins upon himself. He had lived a perfect life, and yet he knew that we had all sinned and that our sins had to be forgiven. And he knew the only way that they could be forgiven would be if he offered up his perfect life for our imperfect lives, and if he shed his blood to wash our sins away. And so that's what Good Friday is all about. We call it Good Friday because it's good for those of us who have received Jesus. During those 6 hours, it wasn't good for Jesus because for the first time in all of his life, those sins had separated him from his Father. And for the first time in his life, he felt the weight and the burden of all those sins. He did not become a sinner when he died on the cross, but he did take all of our sins. That's the amazing thing about the crucifixion. He remained sinless, and yet he took the sins of the whole world upon himself. And so on Good Friday each year, we pause to think about that. As we've been going through these 31 timeless truths on these weekday devotionals, today is truth number 9. And God's timing is so perfect because initially I thought, well, I'll just do a whole devotional on Good Friday. And then I looked to see what the timeless truth for today would be. And I said to myself, well, that fits just perfectly. The timeless truth for the day says that Jesus Christ came to set us free from anything and everything that could imprison us. And that's what Good Friday is all about. That's what the cross is all about. Jesus was bound so that we could be free. Jesus was nailed to that cross so that we would not have to be punished for our sins. So the first thing that Jesus came to set us free from is sin. The penalty of sin, he's already taken that penalty upon himself. The wages of sin is death. He's paid that price. But also he came to set us free from the power of sin so that we would not have to be defeated. Now, we're tempted every day to sin. And we give into those temptations more than we should. But the fact is, we don't have to sin. Whatever temptation you're faced with, you don't have to give into it. You have, in the person of Jesus Christ, who's living on the inside of you, the ability to resist temptation and to say no to that. And I just encourage you, when you're tempted to sin, just say no. And just don't give in to those impulses and to those urges, whatever they might be. You have the ability and you have power over sin through Jesus Christ. And one day when we get to heaven, we will be free from the very presence of sin. Now, in the world in which we live today, we're not free from the presence of sin. Sin is everywhere. But when we get to heaven, there'll be no sin. And so today, on Good Friday, and is what the world is going through right now, we need some good news. And the good news is Jesus Christ has died on that cross, taking the penalty of our sins. He's given us power over sin. And one of these days when we get to heaven, we're going to be free from the very presence of sin. And that will be a happy day. So I encourage you, in these next few hours, pause, think, meditate, pray, and thank Jesus for the sacrifice that he made for you when he died on that cross so long ago. I hope you have a great Good Friday, and I hope you'll watch our Easter services this Sunday. It's going to be different, but it's going to be a good Easter Sunday. We're going to celebrate victory even when there's a lot of defeat going on all around us, and that's really what Easter is all about anyway. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.